Hello everyone, welcome back to the De Becker Code. I'm Douglas De Becker, and today I'll be talking about rejuvenation and how cultures all over the world have successfully used specific processes to slow down aging and to achieve a longer life.
Douglas De Becker is the world's top expert in indigenous traditional medicine.
When a client comes to me, I do my best to listen intently to what they ask and address exactly what they say their main complaint
Douglas
is.
De Becker, he is considered the Sherlock Holmes of medicine.
Integrate Chinese medicines, Indian medicines. It's for us to learn more about it.
Aging has been a challenge for people since the beginning of time. Getting old and full of pain or tiredness or the inability to perform as we did when we were younger really affects everyone. And what ancient cultures came up with is ways of utilizing the knowledge that they had already about the body to encourage the body to age slower and to restore a lot of youthfulness that had been lost while they had been aging. Rejuvenation processes have been around forever, and they all have a lot of the same principles and ideas behind them to form a foundation that really works. For instance, the body has channels that it passes nutrition through as it metabolizes food and then metabolizes what's left after that into smaller and smaller particles. It will go into developing different tissues and go deeper and deeper into the body. Okay? Different tissues themselves will be metabolized to form other tissues. And so the channels where these nutrients are passing through, over time, they can be inhibited or clogged from passing not just nutrient, but second-class nutrient or nutrient that's not really refined, not really pure, like waste product. Okay, as the metabolic process gets weaker, and these metabolic sites that are digesting and breaking down the nutrients into smaller components get weaker, the waste product that's a result of the refined part that's used by the body is building up, and it starts to get into these channels that should be for nutrient delivery and not just for waste disposal. So as each tissue is built, there's a channel where that waste goes, and then there's also the channel where the nutrient is going as it becomes more and more refined. The nutrients go through different stages of tissue, everything from plasma or chyle and blood, and then to muscle and fat and bone and marrow, and even then into reproductive fluid. So all of those channels, as this thing is producing these more and more refined tissues and more refined body constituents, these channels can get inhibited, clogged up with waste, and stopped up where things don't flow the way they should. So one of the main foundations of many rejuvenation processes is to restore good flow in these channels. So there's external body work, there's special types of diet, there is special types of spices within the diet and herbs, and then there's also herbal medicine and even refined mineral components that are used, all to help restore those channels. And that's combined with body work and such as external treatments such as sauna or moxibustion or compresses. All of these things help to restore the proper movement of nutrients and waste so that the body can be built really in a refined way, and the waste product that results from it being built is disposed of properly. This is a big part of rejuvenation processes. Once that's established, alongside of restoring good digestion, then what happens is the body is now performing like it was when it was first created, like when you were a youth, when you were young. Such as like with a car, you change the oil, you flush the engine, you change the spark plugs. These type of things it's very similar in the body. We need to flush the system, flush the channels, restore the metabolic pathways and the metabolic processes so that the body can function at peak optimum performance. I understand that a lot of people are just wanting to get certain substances. What can you do, right? What can you do to make your digestion good? What can you do to make your sleep better? What kind of substances can you take to push those buttons to make everything work better? And we need to understand that the general information that's out there online, where they're telling you, okay, you can use, for instance, a lemon like this, or you can use ginger like this, and utilize these substances to help things. This is a very kind of pharmaceutical approach. Even like a lot of Western herbalism that has come out in the modern world ends up looking like this as well, where we look at one organ as if it's the only thing, even though it's a continuation of a big pipe. We have our digestive organs going from our mouth to our anus, and we have all our blood going through pipes of different organs as well. But these organs are it's all connected. And so if we take, for instance, an herb to make our liver better, we will have some effect. There are herbs known to really help the liver, like turmeric, for instance, is very good for the liver. But there's other aspects of what's causing the liver to be like that, right? We're not just responding to the state of the body. What we're doing here in this process in traditional indigenous medicine is we're restoring from the very core how the body is operating. We're not just using things to affect a certain activity. So it's really good to remember this. So, as we learn about, ginger maybe heating up the digestive fire, okay, that's great. Does that really fix the digestion? And the truth is, it doesn't. It can fix a symptom for some time, but the core problem is a systemic thing that has many parts to it. And so, what we're trying to utilize in traditional indigenous medicine is knowledge about the body and its relationship to substances so that it can help support the body to do what it needs to do, rather than just affecting the body and pushing it backwards. Instead of pushing the backwards in its path and aging, which is really what most of the entire biohacking community and the entire anti-aging community is. It's how to find out these things that are like going bad and push it back so it doesn't go bad. This is the opposite way that traditions are operating in order to achieve the rejuvenation that they're known to be able to achieve. They are using the ways of getting into the system of the intelligence of the body and helping the entire systemic flow of things find more coherency and balance. That's not just from a particular herb. So, for instance, I can tell you that you can take caraway seed, for instance, and make a tea out of it and drink it, and it will integrate your stress and it will calm your wind down and you'll have better sleep. But that in itself is just one piece of a big thing. You can try to you won't achieve great sleep all the time by applying, or great metabolism, or great complexion or energy by just incorporating one substance or one type. This is a whole process and it's really important to understand how the wind, this pressure that's forming coherency in the body for good intelligence to be spread around and instruction to be spread through the body, how that combines with the good nutrients that are a result of good digestion. And so there's definitely things that we can do to help the digestion better through habits of eating. We can eat certain things, certain bitter foods will help the bile to flow, which is a big part of digestion. Certain things we can eat to help the acids be stronger in our stomach, and those two things that break apart the food, and the peristalsis in our intestines, and things we can take for that. There's things we can do to affect the body like that. But the aging process is dominated by the wind. The aging process is fueled by the breakdown of the harmony of the entire coherency of the body's ability to relate to itself. This is why human connection and relationship with other people, or relationship with nature, and all these different aspects that enhance and clarify the movement of the wind helps to reduce aging. Okay, so there are substances, there are medicines that are incredible that have been used for thousands of years. Okay, for the digestion, usually these medicines are based on pomegranate to restore incredible digestion. Mixing, for instance, a whole pomegranate mixed with cardamom, galangal, which is a type of ginger, uh, long pepper, which is a type of pepper called pipali, and cardamom, and how we mix these things together and end up with this incredible medicine that restores the digestion. This is wonderful, and this is a type of rejuvenation. But without the other parts, what we're doing is a very pharmaceutical approach to stop something from moving in a particular direction. The reason it's moving in the direction that it's moving isn't just because there's a deficiency of pomegranate and spices and the metabolic processes that stimulates. It's because of a movement because of the wind. And so we have to remember that when we're doing things for rejuvenation, we need to think of the big picture, okay? Not just using the little substances, lemon in water, warm water with lemon in the morning. It helps to cleanse our liver and stimulate bile and helps us live longer. Yeah, there's some truth to that, but it's not separate from all these other things. So, as a start, if you're wanting to enter in on this path, try to really drop into understanding this kind of cosmology of relationship, this cosmology of like quantum connection with everything, and understand that all these little pieces are important. The most important is how they're relating to each other. So make sure that you are doing things to integrate your stress. Make sure you're getting enough sleep to help have the power to do that. And you can do different herbs. You can also take nettle tea will help with that as well. But after you've kind of taken care of the basis of the whole thing, then you can start incorporating different medicines and different herbs and spices and special foods and special herbs to help keep that movement really strong. And to develop more strength in your body isn't because you have the right substance. Developing more strength in your body is because you have the right coherency and you're having a consistent nourishment that's being refined to turn into your body. So in future videos, we'll go through different substances, herbs, spices, and all these things that can help with this. But the foundation to understand really what's really happening and what we're really trying to get accomplished is not just an understanding of what substance to take to help push back the aging process. We have basically processes that can rejuvenate the body, and then we also have lifestyle that can help rejuvenate the body. The lifestyle really supports that when we want to do a rejuvenation process, it's very effective, and we go back into a lifestyle that's still supporting rejuvenation. A lot of this is really based on this idea that we need to become stronger as we get older. And as we get older, the wind gets stronger as well. So we need to be able to be resilient to the increase of knowledge that we have as we get older and all the impressions that we've built up, with all the connections that we've made as we lose loved ones, as we see more accidents and destructive processes in life and terrible things that's part of our world. As we become more sensitive, and we have to also be resilient and be able to integrate all these experiences as we're getting older. And that demands more and more coherency in our field of intelligence and in the digestion of our life experience. So along with all of this, there's also a whole process of understanding the wind and keeping the wind balanced and nourished so that it can continue to stay harmonized as it continually changes day in and day out. If you found this content helpful, please share it with your friends and invite them to join us in this movement to bring